Hi, my name is Anna Helman, and today I want to share a technique with you that you may have never seen before. It creates the effect of crackled glass, and it is just absolutely beautiful. Let's get started, and I'll share how to create this look. I want to get right into sharing with you how to create this crackled glass technique, and after that, then you'll be able to see the plans I have for turning this piece into a work of art. So what you want to do first is emboss your piece of cardstock with clear embossing powder. Now, if you want something to show through behind your crackled glass, you could do some stamping on here. You could use a piece of designer paper. That is up to you, but I just wanted my crackled glass to appear just like, just plain white, but crackled. So what I'm going to do, I'm using this piece of white cardstock, and I am going to use a Versamark ink pad turned upside down and press it against the cardstock all over so that I get some ink over that entire piece of cardstock. Once I have that done, I want to sprinkle some clear embossing powder over the top. So I'll sprinkle some, I'll use this coffee filter, and I'll sprinkle some over the bottom half. Shake off the excess, and then flip this around and do the other half. So the entire piece is covered. Now, once this is done, I'm going to use my heat tool to heat set this entire piece. So I can hold it with my tweezers here and bring in my heat tool and heat set the entire piece. Now, to save a little bit of time, I already have one of these prepared, and I just want to explain what to do. So after you have heat set this entire piece, it's all glossy, you can set it down and let it cool for a couple of seconds, and then you're going to repeat the same thing again. Put your Versamark ink pad upside down over the whole thing, add some more clear embossing powder, heat set the whole thing. Now, I have done this 3 times. You can play around with this if you're interested in this technique. You can try just doing it once or twice. You could try doing it 5 times. The more you do, the thicker it gets, and the better the crackled effect you are going to get. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to bring in my piece of cardstock that I have done this to. And when I bring it in, I am going to do what I'm explaining right now right away, because so I've set it in the freezer. After you have your embossing done, you have several layers of that clear embossing. Put it in the freezer, let it set for a few minutes. And then you pull it out, and you basically just want to bend that cardstock to cause that embossing to crack. Okay, I'm back, and my piece of cardstock I have already bent so that it has crackled. Now, just in the time I was walking from the freezer to my craft table, it was warming up too much for me to be able to show you this on screen. So I put it back in the freezer, pulled it out, and cracked it right away. And hopefully you can see this. Now, if you can't, you will be able to hear over the next few minutes. So what I'm going to do next for this particular card, you wouldn't have to do this, but what I want to do next is to actually blend some color over top to get into those cracks and highlight them a little bit. So I have some balmy blue ink here, and I am going to go over this lightly and cover the entire piece. And after I get done, I am going to wipe off the entire thing with a baby wipe to pull the color off of the surface and leave that color in those cracks. Now here I have my baby wipe. I've brought it in, and I'm going to wipe this off. You could do this with a tissue or a paper towel. And as I wipe that off, when I bring this up close, hopefully you are able to see that the color is in those cracks, but not on the areas that have not cracked. Now I'm back, and I've been doing a little bit of playing behind the scenes. Do you ever have a project that you have to go with your plan B? Sometimes I like to leave these things in my videos so that you can see an evolution of sometimes how my projects end up the way they do, and also see that things don't always work the first way for me either. So what is happening? I had planned to emboss the snowflake with silver embossing powder on my crackled glass background. But I had actually wondered if this would be a problem. The embossing powder is sticking to the entire thing. Even, you know, just stamping the snowflake is sticking to the whole thing. I think I had figured out a way to make it work, but I am going to just change my color palette, and instead I'm going to stamp the snowflake with some black StazOn ink. You need to use something permanent for this glossy surface. I have also gone back over with my blending brushes and I added a little bit of black to that. So the crackled glass is a little bit, those crackles in the surface are a little bit darker now. So let's stamp this beautiful snowflake with some StazOn ink. And I love that I will be able to do this a couple of times because I'm not expecting to get a perfect result the first time. And I'm actually debating if I want to leave it this way or go ahead and stamp it a second time. When it's not perfect, it gives kind of a frosty look, like frost would look on a window pane. It's not going to be perfect, but let's go ahead and stamp it a second time. Get it a little bit darker. And I really like that. It's still not perfect, but it's a little bit darker this time. So we will wait for this to dry and I will show you what else I have prepared for this card. So I've prepared the card base and I've attached some silver foil paper on top. I love the look that foil papers add to projects. So this is going to be the background and then we'll place this piece on top. This is a pre-cut die cut. They're called Wonderful Snowflakes and they come in packs of quite a few of these, but they're absolutely beautiful. Here's the top side. It has a little bit of an iridescent look to it. And this lays on top of the stamp really nicely. So we're gonna add this to it. And then I have a greeting prepared and we will do a little bit of embellishing. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to make sure that StazOn ink was nice and dry before I went ahead to finish the card. So let's lay this on top of the card base and that pretty foil mat that I've prepared. And we'll get that pressed in place. I have placed a little bit of glue right here on the back side of the snowflake, just in the center. This Tombow glue is nice and strong, so just putting a little bit in the center will be enough to hold that in place. Now, once that is dry, I will trim off the edges so that this will still fit in an envelope. But isn't that just beautiful? I just love the way this is coming together. Now, I prepared a greeting with the Jingle 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 stamp set. I've been using this quite a few times already, even though Christmas time is not anywhere near. And I'm debating where I should put this. So I stamped this greeting that says believe, and then here is the one that goes with it in the magic. And I am going to put this right here. I like the way it looks over a little bit of that snowflake. So I've popped up this other piece that says in the magic. I'll remove the paper backing pieces and place this on top. And we will add a few embellishments. So I've been debating which color of embellishments is the right color. Should they be white? Should they be black? And I think some black ones would look really nice. So these are some of my classic matte dots. I like that they come in these neutral colors and match all kinds of projects. And sometimes when I put my embellishments on, I really like to put them just outside of whatever image or whatever is on my card. I like to place them around it. And this is one of those projects that I think this will look really neat, just to put these around the outside. So I hope you have enjoyed this project. I would love for you to try this crackled glass technique yourself and see how it comes out. If so, you're always welcome to send me pictures. I love to see what you're creating and the things that I have helped inspire you to make. Have a wonderful day. If you're interested in any of the products I've used, you can find links in the video description below. Please subscribe if you're new here. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.